أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Yesterday lesson unfortunately did not record properly because the mic was not on. So what we're going to do is small recap, not too much. It's just a recap so we can understand, because we always link the previous surahs. So in قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, which we did yesterday, and إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ. So when this surah is like complete disassociation from all sorts of kufr, anything that stands against Allah, against Islam, a Muslim has to come out from that, complete dissociate himself. Like, even this is not something strange, yeah? It's not far-fetched idea. Like nowadays, you go footballs, some people support Southampton, other will be supporting Arsenal, United, whatever, yeah? These guys, if you are supporting Arsenal and the other guy is supporting, say, Man City, yeah, they don't go along with praising each other. The other guy is not expected to praise Arsenal if he's supporting Man City, yeah? Does that make sense? So they have their own allegiance with their team, even though they might be same color face, they may be speaking same language, they might be from the same city, and maybe they will be from Southampton, they're supporting something different, yeah? Does that make sense? So this is a reality, this is not something that you don't understand basically. So it is all rational, it's not something which is strange. Same thing. When it comes to your belief, your allegiance, it is with only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A Muslim allegiance can only be with Allah. So now anything that stands behind or in confrontation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's it. You cannot be on that side. It's just not, like for example, you're going to someone's Diwali party, going to Christmas party, celebrating their Father's Day, their Mother Day, this Halloween day, this day and that day, you are showing allegiance to their behavior, to their customs, to their beliefs. This is not allowed. Yeah, this you cannot do that. For them is their own way and living. Yeah, they do whatever they need to do. You don't belittle them. This is not allowed. They have their own ways. Yeah, and we have our own ways. You need to have pride in your own ways. Like you do not, like this hairstyles that we have, you can understand this, or the clothing styles that we have, or anything that we put on brands wise, yeah? It is because you're following their footsteps. We are taken over by their shade, unfortunately. A Muslim is a unique, you are like a lion. You cannot be a follower like a sheep. Yeah, you have your own unique ways that Allah has sent to you. So you need to stand firm on that. This is basically happening in قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. That you are different and they are different. And then إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. Once you have understood your responsibility concerning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have truly become the servant of Allah, what's going to happen? The help and the victory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be with you. This is a certain. This will happen. There is no doubt about it. As long as you are true with Allah. You might be going, just talking about national or big ways, yeah? Take it a small, tiny portion, yeah? You start in your house that from now on, yeah, you will be speaking only truth, even if it's against your parents, if it's against your entire culture and so on. You'll be only speaking truth. You're not going to be lying anymore. Now you start speaking truth, you are upset many people, yeah, even in some gatherings, some people are, their izzah is gone because of you speaking truth, yeah. You only side with the people who are on right, even though they might not be your family members, maybe they do not like your parents and so on, but you still side with them against your own kin and kith. So they're not going to like it, yeah, the beginning. They were not going to appreciate it. But the environment will become better. As soon they will recognize, yes, this guy is truthful. Next time, the enemy, they have their own problem, they will come to you and ask you, what do you think about this? This guy only speaks the truth. So now you have become a criterion. So this is now the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you. And this is a small, tiny example I'm giving. And this becomes huge, major, and the help of Allah comes from unseen places, like it happened in Badr, and that has happened throughout the history. Where the Sahaba started from, who were they? They were nobodies. And how did they rule over the world? Because they held on to lakum dinukum, they held on to their way, waliyadeen, we held on to our day, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help and victory came in. And now, when that help and victory comes in, what's going to be your attitude? Are you going to be thinking, oh, it's because of me, it's because of my struggle, it's because I put the sweat in? No, this is not going to happen. You're going to associate all this greatness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, nowadays, those people, like these historians, who associate all this victory with the Sahabas and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, no, it's wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in here, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. Who you need to glorify? All that came because of Allah, because the instruction came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So only Allah has to be praised. All the credit will go to Allah, nobody else will get the credit. Does that make sense? So you will humble yourself that all this that you have achieved, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will work toward that and you will make it stronger. You will make mechanism. You will work on other people. This is wastaghfir, or you seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so He can put more blessing in it. So that has continued. Now this next surah is Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab. And this is like what's going to happen to the criminals, like the way of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way of Allah. For that, إِذَا جَاءَ نُصْرُ اللَّهِ. And lakum dinukum, their ways is what? It is happening in Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab. However, I want to start from Qul huwallahu ahad. Yeah, this surah is, I want to spend more time, even though the other surah has amazing points. But Qul huwallahu ahad, this is all about Tawheed. This is what we really need to find out. This is what we really need to focus. But we don't have much time, that's why we squeeze in too many surahs in little time. Even though just Qul huwallahu ahad should take about 3-4 lessons minimum for us to thoroughly understand it, but we are even squeezing another surah in this few minutes. So let's concentrate what we need to understand from here. Now, you see, look at your environment, look at your society, look at the bigger scope of the Muslims. What is happening? We are divided to so many different sects. We have so many problems. We have so many issues. We are in nowhere. We don't have any owner, basically. Yeah, we are like garbage, to put it bluntly. We don't have any value whatsoever. The only reason for that is, like Allah says, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ. We haven't honored Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, valued Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He should have been. Should that had happened, our situation would be completely different. Take an example of how we treat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His orders. And the ulama gives example of a child, like say, Aqib has been given a gold ring by his mom. And he's wearing the gold ring and he's little, maybe like 2-3 years old. And he's wearing that. And on the street, John comes in on the way and he wants to take away the gold from him. So he has like sweet, maybe chocolate and things like that he has with him. And he calls Aqib, come here, look at this, taste this sweet, or lick this chocolate. So he licks the chocolate, yeah, and it's sweet, it's nice. And he tells him, do you want to give me the ring and I'll give you this? And Aqib, because he's 2-year-old, he does not understand what ring and gold is, he would give that. And he will take the chocolate. It makes sense, yeah, the child will do that. Yeah, and it happens, it's not a big deal. And if even in our day-to-day life, if you do not understand the value of anything, you will give that for something which is less valuable. So same thing, we have given Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for minute and tiny thing. We sell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our day-to-day life on multiple occasions. That's whether you praising yourself or you looking out, you don't want to speak the truth, yeah, because you need to hide something. You steal from people, you backbite, you slander, yeah, other people just to make your friends and buddies happy, make people laugh and smile. For that you sell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning you break His laws, because you don't really understand how valuable Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. If you had valued Allah, yeah, if you really, this kid, if he understood really the value of this gold, would he give it on this tiny sweet? Is that possible? No. Similarly, because we don't know who Allah is, we haven't really valued Allah, that's why we are ready to do all these filth, all these sins that we do day to day life, because we don't know who Allah is and we don't value Allah. So this surah has come in that fashion that we can understand who Allah is. So Allah becomes our priority and we can recognize Allah, and everything else is based on that. And let's understand how much Allah values us. Yeah, I'll give you this an example so you have a set image in your brain, inshallah, before we do the surah. You have a friend, say in Pakistan, yeah, or Afghanistan or Somalia, wherever you are from, amazing, good friend. Yeah, you think he's your childhood friend. And then you send him gifts upon gifts, and you send him money, and you look after him, and so on. Yeah, you have spent so much on him. And then one of your friends comes to you and he's like, how much are you going to spend on him? Yeah, so you should have sent maybe like £100 in a month, that's it, sufficient. But you are sending like every week that much, and then when you go there, you buy him so many things and that, this and this and this. And you'll be like, nah man, it's okay. I haven't spent much on him. Because you really value that friend, yeah? Does it make sense what I'm saying, or is it? Yeah, Shabir, you busy? Okay. So because you value that friend of yours, so no matter how much you spend on him, it looks less to you. You don't really think that you have spent much on him. But just in case he buys you something small, tiny, maybe he sends you your culture clothes, yeah, Afghani clothes or Pakistani clothes or Somalian turban or something like that, yeah. Now you will praise that guy in every gathering. Look, and you'll tell that friend especially, look, you said that he is this and this and this. Look, he has sent me that from there. Yeah, so that's how much he loves me. Yeah, so our friendship is on a different level. You cannot say anything bad about my friend, basically. Yeah, does that make sense? Do you understand all this now? Now change that, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala values you. Look what Allah has given to us in this world. The amazing sceneries, this world where we can survive, we can live. The atmosphere has become a place for us where we can survive, basically. If anything becomes less, we are gone. All the blessings, just think about it. You just sit down and think how much blessings that you have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the seas and oceans, the mountains, anything, yeah, the fruit that you eat, the burgers that you eat, and the chips that you eat, all those, they are blessing of Allah, yes? What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? قُلْ مَتَاعُ الدُّنْيَا قَلِيلٌ. This mata' of this dunya is tiny, it's little, it's nothing. Like how a good friend talks about this person who has spent so much on him. Same thing, Allah mentioned that what I have given you is little of enjoyment. There is nothing, quick passing enjoyment, nothing there. Now you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you worship, little bit of worship. You become sincere, you say something which is truth. You stand up for the rights of the people and so on. Maybe you come stand up during the night, pray 2 rakat tahajjud. You're sitting here for a few hours just to understand who Allah is and so on. Yeah, like you sitting right now. Take this example, because this is something extra that you're doing. You want to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about these people? وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ. And the men who remember Allah often, and the women. Your remembrance of Allah is what? Nothing. But how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala value you? A lot. And like how you mentioned to your friends and buddies that how he has sent me this amazing clothes and things like that, yeah, which is nothing. Like how much can we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much can we really value Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's nothing we can do to praise Allah. Yeah, but still Allah values you that much, that He praises you in this fashion. Now, like it comes in a hadith, yeah, those people who come to sit in the remembrance of Allah. Remembrance of Allah is only Quran, yeah, dhikr. This is the true dhikr. Like we were going to be able to learn this in Quran. Dhikr, when it comes in Quran, it is only Quran. So when these people come in these kind of gathering, the malaika surround them, the rahmah of Allah comes, and then when these malaika goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he asks them, where did you come from? Even though Allah knows, yeah, but just to show how much you are valuable to Allah. And then he praises you. Like it comes in Quran, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. You remember me, and Allah will remember you. You remember Him in your obedience. When you're about to do some sort of sins, you stop yourself. Now whenever you need anything from Allah, rahmah, some sort of difficulty you're going through, the help of Allah will come to you. So this is how Allah is going to remember you. So I hope the example that I gave you earlier, this friend of yours, your connection with the friend, and how Allah values you. So you do nothing for Allah, but how Allah sees you. So this is who Allah is. This is how much value, how much worth you have. I haven't explained it to you properly because we don't have much time that I can go to great details. But the value that you have with Allah is huge. But unfortunately, we don't recognize that true friend of our Allahu waliyul ladina. Yeah, Allah is the friend, Allah is the guardian, Allah is the protector of those who believe. This is the criterion that you need to do have. Just believe in Allah, alladhina amanu wa kanu yattaqun, and who work to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their day-to-day life. You don't need to have so many other things, just these few qualities you need to have, and Allah becomes your friend. And Allah huwa waliyul ladin. Even in there's so much talk that you will be amazed that Allah Himself said that Allah is the friend of these. Like a king talks about a peasant, a servant, that the king says, I am his friend. No, he is, I am his. So this gives amazing value to this human being. How much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees us, and look at how we value Allah, where we sell Him for our own whims and desires, for making our culture happy, for making our parents happy, for making our friends happy, for making our culture happy, the society happy. Just to fit in, we break the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left and right, don't care whatsoever. Does that make sense? How irrational are our decisions. But this is only and only because we haven't realized who Allah is. Like this child who hasn't realized this goal, otherwise he wouldn't give it for a chocolate, yeah? Does that make sense? So this is our mission in this surah, that we can understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a little bit. So let's go to the surah itself. They say it is some say Makki, some say Madani, but the Makki is more appropriate because even if you look at the seerah, like Bilal radallahu anhu, when he used to get tortured, what did he used to say? Ahadun, ahad. He used to remember Allah as a ahad, and this is the only place where positively the name of Allah has come, as in ahad, that Allah is ahad. And another thing with this surah, there are two words that has come, ahad and samad. These are the only, samad is the only place in this surah that the name samad has come for Allah subhanahu. There's nowhere else in Quran. Samad, so it's a special place for here. But ahad, it is something which is only positively used for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not just to say one. Yeah, one is something different, like wahid is one. Yeah, but ahad is to show this is unique. There cannot be any whatsoever ahad. You cannot say this to anything, that this thing is ahad. You cannot say this guy is ahad. This is not possible. This is not allowed. Yeah, ahad can only be used positively. You can say this guy is not ahad. Yes, that's fine. This thing is not ahad, you can do that when it becomes in negative. But when it comes for ithbat, for affirmation, it has to be only for Allah. So what this shows, that there cannot be anything that you will associate that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There cannot be anything that you do other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent for you to obey in order to please Him. So everything that He has, or the way you need to worship Him, is all unique and only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether it is His anger, whether it is His curse, whether it is His blessings, whatever it is unique to Him. It cannot be given to anyone else. For example, like we give this uniqueness to ta'weez, we give this uniqueness to these omens that we have, we give this uniqueness to the graves, guys, yeah? That some sort of help will come from these guys if you worship. These are not, this is that you have given, you haven't recognized what ahad is basically, which is uniqueness for Allah. So all these attributes that comes for Allah in the Quran, it is only and only for Him. It cannot be given to anyone else. So this is an important point. And there are like over 20 names for this surah. Yeah, over 20 names. Just one or two I'll give you. One is Ikhlas, what is Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surah Samad, Surah Tafreed, Tajreed, Wilayah, Nisbah, Tawheed, Najah, Ma'rifah, and it continues in that fashion, Insan, Iman, and so on. And as we have said previously, it comes in the Arabic language, فَإِنَّ كَثْرَةَ الْأَسْمَاءِ دَالَّةٌ عَلَى شَرْفِ الْمُسَمَّى. If there are lots of names of something, then it gives honor to the one which is named. Like we said, yeah, doctor, engineer, Hafiz, Alim, Mufti, Harith. Does that make sense? All these amazing things has been mentioned about Harith. So it gives these honor to this person who is being mentioned. So same thing, lots of name is given to Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Surah Ikhlas, which shows that this is something really valuable. And you must have heard the hadith. I don't really mention many hadith because for every surah there are so many, and we will be only spending time learning a hadith instead of learning Quran. But I will only mention this, yeah, when it comes to I'm talking about the blessings or the value, the barakat that comes for the virtues, basically, that comes for surahs. I don't mention them. But this one, I need to mention because there is point in it. You must have heard, yeah, that the Quran, this Qul Huwallahu Ahad is 1/3 of the Quran, yeah, thuluth. When you who hasn't heard this hadith, who has heard it? MashaAllah, we have a few. Yeah, 1/3, yeah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. You heard it about this? Or the Qul Huwallahu Ahad is like 1/3 of the Quran? You haven't. Okay, there is so many hadith with regards to this, yeah, that it is 1/3 of the Quran. So they talk about ajr and they give lots of different opinions, but let's understand it in a way some of the ulama mention. One, the Quran has come, the branches of his Iman, the articles of Iman are three basically. Everything else comes out of it. Number one is Tawheed. The other one is Risala, and the third is Akhirah. These three things. This is what Quran talks about. And in here, it talks about Tawheed. So you have 1/3 of the Quran. And another ulama mentioned is that in one it comes Ahkam. These are like talking about Salah, Zakah, Hajj, Jihad, living your life in society and so on. These are Ahkam. And other is Wa'id, which is like talking about Jannah, Jahannam, punishment and so on. This is another aspect that happens in the Quran. And three are the Asma'u Sifat, which is basically the Tawheed. Yeah, so this is because the Quran is being divided into different sections. So if you were to understand Qul Huwallahu Ahad properly, you have understood 1/3 of the Quran. Does that make sense? So this is, they change it to that opinion rather than giving it as ajr and so on. Now, what is the da'wah? What is the claim of the surah? We have mentioned this, Tawheed. To understand, and it's a comprehensive Tawheed. And there are so much talk in that, how comprehensive the surah is, but unfortunately we don't have time. But let's understand the ayats one by one. Look at the Quran. The first ayah, in here we learn Tawheed fi Dhat and Khaliqiyah. Because Allah, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ, when you were to ask those people, yeah, because it's talking there, the first audience, who? Allah. وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. Who created the sama and the earth and so you and so on? They will say Allah. So they believed Allah as the Khaliq. And here is Ahad, meaning He is alone, single, unique, and that's it, He is one. So this is His being basically. The second is Tawheed Sifati Thabutiyya. Remember from last lesson we did this in إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, for talking about فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ. There are attributes of Allah which are positive, like He is a creator, He is a Khaliq, He is justice, He is the one who provides and so on, yeah. These are all positive things that Allah has mentioned about Himself in the Quran that we attribute to Him. These are called Sifati Thabutiyya. So these are pluses, yeah. And then there are, which is happening in the next few ayats, which is from the 3 and 4. And here is the Sifati Salbiya. These are those which Allah does not have. Allah is free from any minuses. So these are we might have plus for us, like having lots of children is plus for us, it is not for Allah. So Allah is free from that. Allah is free from tiredness. Allah is free from any ghafla. Allah is free from any need to go to sleep, yeah, need to have any partners, need to have this and that. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from all of that. So you minus. So these are something which are positive that are mentioned in the Quran, which are for Allah. And there are those negatives that people have added to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So both has been mentioned in here. Sifat Salbi and Sifat Thabuti. Does that make sense? So everything concerning Tawheed has been mentioned. But now understand Tawheed, yeah? Because this surah is about Tawheed, and that's why I wanted to start here. We will spend very little time on Tabbat Yada, yeah? So but this surah and Tawheed is our fundamental. If our Tawheed is weak, then we have problem, yeah? What is Tawheed basically? It compromises of few different branches. The ulama put it to different sections so you can understand. Even though some even put it to 2, some put it to 3, some put it to 4, but we'll do it in 5 different sections. Number 1, you believe in the wujud of Allah. Yeah, this is Iman bidatillah, in the name, the origin, in his being. Like some people say he is 2, other people say 3, yeah. What's it called? What's the triangle thing? Christianity? Trinity. There you go. I forgot the name. So we go Trinity, and we go Hindus, billions. Yeah. So they have so many. But here what we believe in is only one, unique. There is no one else like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِلَّهِ, that comes in the Quran, but of course places. So it's no 2, 3 or millions and tens, whatever. Another one, believe in his sifat, his attributes and his names that he has sent. Al-Iman bisifatillahi wa asma'ih. And there are so many, yeah, but the one which are mentioned in here, the names of Allah, like 99 names, but the sifat of Allah, there are many. Like it comes in Quran, I haven't written down the ayat. Oh, yes, here. وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامُ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. The nearest meaning, that if the trees, yeah, if they were to become pens and the oceans were to become ink, and you were to write the names, the sifat of Allah, kalimatullah, yeah, they will perish, these things will perish, but the sifat of Allah, kalimat of Allah will not. Does that make sense? That's how many there are, but we don't know them all. The one which Allah has told us in Quran and Sunnah, we will take them and we will praise Allah according to that. We will not add anything from ourselves, even though no matter how we see it, amazing, yeah. Like we have these Tawiz guys, they have these strange names that they have added to the sifat of Allah, like Ya Budu, something like that, yeah. They have this in Pakistan, Afghanistan culture. They write this. This is a strange name that they have added from themselves. Maybe they're doing it out of love and so on. However, it is not what has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So adding anything from yourself or subtracting anything from that, which we done, Sifat Salbi and Thabutiyya earlier, it is a problem. You cannot do that. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا وَذَرُوا الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ سَيُجْزَوْنَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Those people who deviate from the sifat of Allah, there is so much talk in there, yeah. But anything which Allah has mentioned to you, you will take that in its full sense. You will not give that to anyone else. You will mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, yeah, it is from the deviation concerning the names of Allah that like it comes in Al-Mu'izz and like Al-Mudhil, yeah, the one who disgraces and the one who gives honor. Now, you calling people with Al-Mudhil and you keep on saying Al-Mudhil, Al-Mudhil, Al-Mudhil. You only say the one portion of the sifat of Allah and you totally ignore the other. You have done you have deviated. You have done deviation concerning the names of Allah. You believe in Ghafoor, Rahim, Kareem. You believe in this. Allah is merciful. Allah is this and this and this and this. Yeah, positive for you basically, yeah, that Allah will forgive me basically. You believe in that part, but you completely neglect that Allah is adil, Allah is just, Allah is the one who has dhul qahri wal ghadab. He is that, He is dhul intiqam, He will bring people to accountability. You completely neglect that. It is not, you go to be both, yeah. So all sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way you meant to believe, which comes in the Quran, all of that needs to be in. You cannot remove, you cannot add anything. So this is concerning the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as you mentioned, there are many. Another is, so we done 2, yeah? One was the being of Allah, yeah. The other is His attributes and His names. Third, remember this, yeah. It's good to remember. Maybe I'll ask you tomorrow, inshallah. Is al-iman bi rabubiyyah, to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your Rabb, He is your master, He is your nourisher, He is your creator. Yeah? So believe in all those things that He has created, the earth, the sky, day, mountain, trees, moon, and all those things. Another one is al-imanu bil-uluhiyyatillah. Now you have believed who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. What you need to do in response is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely. So all your ibadat, where they are internal, yeah, whether they are internal or they are external, they will only be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is uluhiyya. And the next, another one, last one, which is tawheed, al-hukm wal-qanun. The sharia, your way of life, the rules of life, yeah, that you need to work, which is currently nowhere, anywhere else, yeah, it is a problem we have. It has to be under that which Allah has sent, the sharia. This will be your qanun, this will be your rule of life. For example, nowadays, if someone dies, how the inheritance will be divided? Is it going to be the UK's law or is it going to be Quran? Now you have the opportunity, you can do it in your house, in your own house, you can write a will and so on. You can do it according to Sharia, but no, if you left it and the people, your kids, and though you haven't given them good tarbiyah, they will take that for their own opportunity. Maybe the wife will say, oh, I'll receive everything now because husband has died, I'm not going to give it to anyone else that they have the rights in, which Allah has given. But you take that away. This is, you have done kufr. This is what it is. Like anything which Allah has told you in Quran as a hukum, as a rule of life, as a rule of living, you take away that, yeah, and you choose anything else, which happens in our lands, yeah. We go to courts because we don't want to rule by Sharia. We do not want to, like, do you want to rule on Pashto or Sharia, yeah? You have heard this, yeah? So that kind of attitude. So this is a kufr. This is not allowed. And there are many other things we could have mentioned, but this is just with regards to that. And there is وَلَا يُشْرِكُ فِي حُكْمِهِ أَحَدًا. This is the proof in the Quran for it. Now, what do we learn in this surah? What are the few things we talked about? We learn all those things, yeah? But some ulama simplify the surah. And Allahu Akbar. We have very little time, yeah? Number one, you learn tawheed, yeah, simple terms. This is the first thing you learn. The other one is the disapproval of all other religions. Whether it's atheism, yeah, which is one, yeah, they don't believe in anything, which is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, there is someone. So this is complete rejection of atheism and agnostic people, that they are confused. They are being rejected in that fashion. And the rest, people, whoever they believe in some sort of partners with Allah. No matter who they are, they call themselves Jew, they call themselves Christians, whatever they call themselves, but they believe in some sort of other powerful beings with their God. And that has been rejected. So shirk has been rejected in this surah, as well as atheism, as well as agnostic. All those has been been removed. And another thing in this surah, you get fundamental of success for Muslims in this surah. Remember this, yeah? Fundamentals of success of ummah, of Muslims in this surah. What? Number one. So take the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and implement this in your life. Number one, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying He is ahad, He is unique. Yeah. So this, ulama say, equals toward unity. Become united, become like one fist, become like one body, like it comes in hadith, yeah? Become one. This is, if you do that, you have achieved something. Number two, in there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says samad, which we'll talk about this. In that calls to that you stand up, you build your own self, do not rely on other people, do not become beggars. So you become self-sufficient. This is another you can learn from this surah. And lastly, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Do not prioritize people because of their race, because of their color, because what they belong to. This shouldn't be your criterion. Yeah, does that make sense? So if all of that has been removed, then you will only see success in the ummah, which is unfortunately all our way of life is completely against the surah. Linking, we can do lots of linking, yeah, but we'll leave that. But just go to the surah itself because we have very limited time and we cannot give the due right of it. May Allah forgive for our shortcomings. And Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, Ahad, Samad, Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful. He has sent Tawheed, blessing for all to take. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful. His Ahbab are chosen for Ikhlas. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say He is Allah one. By saying Qul, we learn two things. Number one, this is a message, a order to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to say what is coming next. So Tawheed, your Tawheed is not complete if you do not call other people to it. And this actually links with the surah we have recently done, Wal Asr, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. What is وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ? What was Haqq? Quran, Tawheed, yeah? Your Tawheed is not complete if you do not call people. You are not Muslim fully. You are not away from khusran, from loss, if you do not call other people to Quran, if you do not call other people to Tawheed. Does that make sense? So this is a criterion. This is what you learn in here. And now, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, which is the other, yeah, where you stand firm, you stand like a mountain, you do not shake if any calamity issue comes in because you're calling people toward it. This is happening in قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِالْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, where you seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from calamities and things like that. Does that make sense? So all the surah is beautifully connected. By saying قُلْ, mean you have already believed in Allah, you have already doing good deeds. The next two steps are يتواصوا بالحق and يتواصوا بالصبر. So every surah that we even little pondering over the surahs, it tells you how beautifully the entire Quran is connected. Whatever part of the Quran you read, it will call you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your true way of life, your true purpose basically. Yeah, this is one. Number two, by قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبٍّ قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. By saying this, it gives another message that you can only learn Tawheed from Quran. It cannot be from anywhere else. Ya ayyuhar rasul balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been informed to say, to give that which has been revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning the only way for you to truly recognize Allah, it is only and only Quran. You cannot take Tawheed from anywhere else. And it comes in the Quran. وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا مَا كُنْتَ تَدْرِي مَا الْكِتَابُ وَلَا الْإِيمَانُ. And so it continues. And thus we have revealed to you an inspiration of our command. You did not know what is the book or faith. You didn't know before that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Quran. He sent the wahi, he gave guidance to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was after the search of monotheism. He was already on it, but he wanted to further enhance that. Allah sent that and guided that. And same thing, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam needs to call people through it. Same thing you need to do, because what did we say? If order comes to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is like a military leader. It applies to the rest. It applies to us. So it is an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you must preach on. You cannot keep this goodness with yourself. You cannot be a munafiq where you only like for yourself and you do not give it to other people. You do not appreciate or you do not give the same to other people. And here, who Allah? He is Allah. What did you say? He, when He is mentioned, what does that mean? You already know. It is not someone like where you said Abdul Samad is coming. Remember this example? He's coming to give Jum'ah bayan. And then I say he is going to be talking about this topic and he is going to be talking about for 10 minutes and he is this and he is that and he is this. But you know who I mentioned, yeah? Who was I talking about? Abdul Samad. If I didn't mention Abdul Samad, would you know what he is? No. Yeah? But Allah subhanahu does not mention he before it. Say Qul, say he, who is Allah. So they know who Allah is. These people, yeah, they know certainly who Allah is. And it all for this, for mushrikeen of Mecca, they know, yeah, they know that. And it also applies to us. We are born on fitrah, or we are born in a way to recognize there is a God. But that He is who, you need to find out in here, Allah. Does that make sense? Is that understood? Yeah, so it's a talking to the fitrah itself, and there's so much. Just one portion, one thing I'll mention because it's important. Allahu Akbar. The high status of the name of Allah. It comes in a hadith where عن زيد عن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رجل للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما شاء الله وشئت قال جعلت لله ندا ما شاء الله وحده. It comes in Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu who said, a man said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whatever Allah wills and you will. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you have put an equal with Allah. It is what Allah alone wills. Does that make sense? You do not even add the name of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the same sentence when it comes to Allah. Yeah, this is how heavy the name of Allah is. Like we have in the Masajid, yeah, Allah and Rasul name on same length. This shouldn't happen. The name of Rasul will come down. Even ulama talk about this, yeah. Allah is above everything. Yeah, does that make sense? So even in the hadith is clearly there. So like those people who give honor to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a fashion that is as if he is a god, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not move away from his decision, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not move away from his request. This is wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from anyone's needs, from anyone's request, or to make anyone happy. Allah is completely free from that. Allah is above all that. This is what we learn in Tawheed, yeah? Unique. He is unique in what he is. Another Ahad. Okay, so it comes in Tafseer ibn Kathir where he explains what Ahad is. هو الواحد الأحد الذي لا نظير له ولا وزير ولا نديد ولا شبيه ولا عديل ولا يطلق هذا اللفظ على أحد ولا أحد في إثباته إلا على الله عز وجل لأنه الكامل في جميع صفاته وأفعاله, meaning he is the one, the singular, who has no peer, no assistance, no rival, no equal, and none comparable to him. This word Ahad cannot be used for anyone in affirmation. Remember, yeah, cannot be used in anyone to say he is, like in a positive manner. Cannot be used for anyone else beside Allah, because he is perfect in all of his attributes and actions. Like there is many things, but we will leave that here. But remember one thing that I need to mention. Like we have, for example, the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are attribute, we have shares with that, basically. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Sami'. He is the all hearing, yeah, the all hearing. But we are Sami' as well, we can hear. Allah is Basir, the all seeing, we can see. Allah is Qawi, Allah is strong, but we are, yeah, we have strength Allah has given to us. Yeah, so we have some sort of similarities in the attributes, but you need to have the following three conditions that I'll mention. If they are present and you give this to anyone in that fashion, meaning you have done shirk with Allah in the sifat of Allah. Number one, the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are timeless. There is no ending and no beginning. No matter what kind of attribute you say, whether seeing your strength, your seeing, your understanding, all will have this limitation that it has started somewhere and it will end somewhere. Does that make sense? This is with our qualities. Number two, there is no limit to Allah's knowledge. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you cannot, our knowledge is limited to a certain extent. Like as we progress, as we grow, we understand more of the world. As the scientists grow, they understand the universe more, yeah? So our knowledge grow, and it's starting from somewhere as well. It starts from tiny and it grows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, any attributes is free from that. No limit on Allah's knowledge. Another one, that everything that I have is given to me. It is a granted. It is not something that I had from the beginning. It is that I acquire, whether there are skills, whether there are knowledge, that they are assumed, and I consume that from things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from that. No one gave it to Allah. Does that make sense? So this is like it comes in a qadim. So Allah, He's like how He is qadim, same thing, all His attributes are qadim. There's a limitless, I don't know how, qadim is all, yeah, in other words. Like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, yeah, same thing, all His attributes. No one gave it to Him. Does that make sense? You understood that point, yeah? Okay. And if you understand the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly, then we will never be able to do shirk. Because the people who do shirk, they do not understand the attributes of Allah. Why people go to graves? Why they go to Pir Sahibs? Why they go to Taweez guys and this and this? Because they themselves see weak. They themselves see napak. And they see those people like on high status, where they're gonna request to Allah and they will have connection with Allah basically, yeah, and Allah will give. And the other is because they are the beloved. They are closer people. They are the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the family of the Sahaba and this and this and this. Yeah, so they are some sort of quote unquote, yeah, they are closer people, so Allah will not upset them basically. These are all wrongs. These are not, you are as beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if you are from the family of, if you are Ikrimah, we are meant to talk about his story, the son of Abu Jahl, he became a Sahabi. No matter how big of a alim, mufti, sheikh comes, yeah, no matter who comes, even if it's the pure uncle of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Lahab, yeah, he cannot reach his status. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter who you are. If you really understood who Allah is, these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll never be able to fall in any sort of shirk whatsoever. Next ayah, Allahu Samad, Allah, the eternal refuge. The Samad, there is so much talk about in Samad, but we will summarize it in small fashion. Samad in Arabic language was used for a rock or a place where you go and take refuge. And then later on, it changed to a leader where people used to go and ask for assistance, for protection. And Qurtubi brings a quote. It says, As-Samad, as-Sayyidu alladhi yusmadu ilayhi fi al-nawazili wal-hawa'ij. As-Samad, the master leader who stands firm in calamities and needs. However, in Samad, in people, you call someone, mashallah, this guy is very brave. This guy is very generous. But you don't know internally how he is. Maybe he is scared of something, or maybe he fears so many things. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that for himself, it is completely above, beyond what the people associate with those praising of people. Does that make sense? And what is Samad? Just understand this, yeah, and you will be able to. There are so many opinions the ulama brings, yeah. You will get tired of even reading the opinions what Samad is. But عن ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنه يعني الذي يصمد الخلائق إليه في حوائجهم ومسائلهم. Ikrimah reported that Ibn Abbas رضي الله تعالى عنه said, this means the one who all of the creation depend upon for their needs and their request. And as it comes in the Quran, ثُمَّ إِذَا مَسَّكُمُ الضُّرُّ فَإِلَيْهِ تَجْأَرُونَ. Then whenever hardship touches you, to him alone you cry for help. So he is Ahad. He is unique. He doesn't need anyone. He doesn't, if like this unique, it causes a problem, yeah? That if he does not need anyone, why would he help me out? Yeah, what is, if someone, he is completely free from me. I do not give any benefit to Allah. We don't, yeah? This is our, Allah does not become any, in his being, and become any honorable because of we worship him, or the entire world worship him. It doesn't give any honor extra or reduce any honor from Allah. So he is Ahad in that fashion. But then this causes a problem. If he is Ahad, then there's a problem. He's not going to help me out because there is no need whatsoever. Then the next part comes in, Samad. Yes, even though he is unique, he does not need you, but he is also the one who comes to the refuge of his servants. So it fills that hole in, yeah? Does that make sense? You're not going to give any honor to Allah, and by you not asking anything from him, yeah, he's not going to become any more or less, but you must, and this is the only place for you to return to. Yeah, there is no other way. Next ayah, لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. He neither begets nor is born. Yeah, this is a problem. The foolish people who associate manners with Allah, as we mentioned earlier, because they see themselves inferior, or they see other people to be closer to Allah, so they go directly to Him, and then they will do like shafa'ah for them. But this is a wrong idea, like Allah mentioned previously. Now, if you have understood Ahad, then you have Samad. You do this too, yeah? He's unique, meaning no one is going to persuade him, or he doesn't need anyone beloved, basically, like a son or a wife or so on. He doesn't need that. He's completely free. There is no one, like we're going to be able to learn this in the last portion. There is no one who is his kufu, no one who is resemble him in any way. There is no one compatible with Allah. So no matter who kind of guys that you choose to be beloved of Allah, that you go to him, this problem is sorted. And the other one, where you see yourself that you cannot go to Allah, by that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, As-Samad is the one to whom you meant to turn. So it is for everyone. As-Samad is for everyone. It is not for anyone who only prays, or those people who are in masajid, those people who pray 5 times, no matter who you are. The worst of the worst of the criminals, like Ikrimah, yeah? As I mentioned, the Sahabi who became Muslim, his death warrant was out, yeah, because of the crime he committed. Or Umar, he came out with a sword. Khalid bin Walid, what he did, but he came to Allah and the doors are open. Now we want to have names like Khalid. We want to have names like Umar. Just the names, forget having his status or being like him or be with him. Yeah, this is a different case. Does that make sense? But as long as you turn to Allah, Allah will come to you. No matter who you are, where you are standing. But as long as you have recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Last ayah. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Nor is there to him any equivalent. So this is Al-Musawi wal-Mumail fi sifat, equal and similar in qualities. This is Ibn Ashur, and like saying equal, like for like, pair, match, similar. So there is no one compatible. Like for example, you get married to someone if they are compatible to you. Yeah, you do not get married to a tree, unfortunately, like now people do. Yeah, you don't get married to a dog. You do not get married to other things. You only marry a lady who is, you can understand her. Yeah, you don't. I'm sure you're gonna get married to people that you don't understand them. They are same manners, they have same religion and so on. So they are compatible with you, so you get married to them. And there are 3 things that comes in kufu basically. One is Nadir, one is Shabih, and then is Mathil. So you have like 2 books. Yeah, everything about them is different, but there are 2 books. This is called Nadir basically. Shabih, 2 books, same size, yeah, same color, but the context is different. So there is little bit differences in it. And Al-Mathil is like a photocopy of it. You have Quran and you have another Quran. So everything is similar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from all of that. No matter what kind of thing you give to Allah, yeah, that there is someone like him or something like him, you go to a grave for asking same sort of problems, you wear ta'weez for same sort of issues, Allah is free from all of that. You do not associate that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's go to the other surah quickly. Yeah, and we'll do that very quickly, which is not possible, but we try it, yeah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa tab. May the hand of Abu Lahab be ruined, and ruin is he. So they say the first portion, Tabbat yada, is like the dua, and the second portion is the khabar, that yes, it has been completed, and there's lots of talk about that as well. This Abu Lahab was the worst of the criminals. He was the one who, he was so evil, like at the time, which is Sila Rahmiya, looking after each other was the only thing that you could survive in a society. When they boycotted Rasulullah and his clan, Abu Lahab, who was the uncle, pure uncle of Rasulullah, he was the only one who didn't go in the boycott. Yeah, and the rest of the nation, even though they were not Muslims, yeah, they were not Muslims, but they were from the same tribe, as per their, according to their laws, they went on boycott with Rasulullah because the rest of the clans, the rest of the people did. And this guy was so evil that if someone was to spend or sell them food, he used to buy those caravans, so they don't give it to those people who are boycotted. So he was a criminal on a different level, and there are so many things that we could have mentioned, but he is like the scumbag of the society that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in here. And how he died from smallpox. These pox that came on him, he used to pop and then he used to smell, and he reached the stage that no one wanted to go closer to him. When he died, no one wanted to bury to him because they were afraid that the illness will transfer. Then the kids were told, they were like forced, that you need to sort this thing out basically. So he was dragged to a hole, and the stone was thrown from far away. And just imagine, yeah, the stone are thrown at someone, like remember Abu Righal, yeah, his grave is stone because he's not appreciated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that to Abu Lahab, his own people, the one there who is pride on. And this guy who worked, his entire mission was against Rasulullah. His failure became manifested when his own people, his own kids, believed in Rasulullah. And all his buddies, everyone that he had, were destroyed in Badr. They were killed in Murdar Shiyu, yeah? Does that make sense? So this is how failure he became. He saw this failness with his own eyes. This is how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala degraded him. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب. Neither his wealth benefited him nor what he earned. And there is much talk about this, but everything that he stood for, everything that he worked for, whether it was his wealth, whether it was his pride, his clan, and so on, all of them, like we mentioned his story, all, nothing benefited him. And of course, he used to say, there is a saying that comes in, I think one of the Mufassir mentioned this, that وذكر عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم لما دعا قومه إلى الإيمان قال أبو لهب إذا كان ما يقول ابن أخي حقا فإني أفتدي نفسي يوم القيامة من العذاب بمالي وولدي. Even if, he used to say this, yeah, even if what my nephew says is true, I will ransom myself. I'll save myself from Jahannam on day of judgment with my wealth and my children. So that will of course not benefit. So ما أغنى عنه, this is the order of Allah comes on him, yeah, that nothing will benefit this guy whatsoever. Number 3, سيصلى نارا ذات لهب, he will soon enter a fire full of flames. He was known, he was given this nickname of Abu Lahab because of his radiance and his beauty, because of what he has in this dunya. But that became like sarcastic. Now this is your situation in Jahannam. So the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds is amazing, and there are many other things we could have talked. Number 4, وَامْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ, and his wife, the carrier of firewood, because she helped him in the cause. Same thing nowadays. If a husband is pushed to haram because of the demands of the family at home, these people are responsible. You do not push your husband, you do not push your brother, your sister, your father to such an extent where he has to now commit haram, where he is to steal, whether he is to steal from the government, he is to go now do haram work in order to provide for you this TV, provide for you these extra clothes, these fashion to fit in. All those things, you push that, so you will be responsible, you will be going along, and there is much talk about this. Last ayah, وَفِي جِيدِهَا حَبْلٌ مِّن مَّسَدٍ, around her neck is a rope of fiber. There comes in a seerah that she used to have an amazing neck, a necklace, and she used to be pride on. She used to say that I will sell this in the enmity of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning in the war against Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She used to say this. So they say, the ulama say that has become as like whatever, like how Abu Lahab was known with this amazing thing, she was known with this amazing necklace and his beauty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed that, and there is another way of understanding that comes in Quran. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبِلِ الْوَرِيدِ. They use that ayah to say habl in here, yeah? Is like this rope. What is it? It's like her jugular vein will be twisted. So it is the punishment that will be given to her. And what she's going to be doing, like how she was helping his husband fired up against Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam by telling him things and pushing him and so on. Similarly, she will be doing that in Jahannam, where she will be bringing firewood and throwing it on her husband. So the punishment will continue in that fashion. And there are amazing other things, but unfortunately we had just 1 hour now completed, so we need to stop here. May Allah forgive our shortcomings and accept the goods from us. Jazakallah khair for coming. May Allah accept from you. May Allah keep you with Quran. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم.